Thank you for being here this morning. Some of you were here yesterday evening, and some of you are just joining us this morning. Hi, Barbara. Welcome.
Hi.
Glad you're here. We're excited to have Dr. Mary Carol Pomatto, our Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, with us. And Dr. Pomatto is a Rella, just like most of us on this call, and she's been at the university for many years. So thank you so much, Dr. Pomatto, for taking time out of your schedule this morning. She's going to give us kind of a broad overview of and there's no way we'll be able to hit everything that's gone on at the university, but an overview of what's going on with the academic side of things at Pittsburg State University. And we're recording this as well, and so we can share this with some of the folks who were not on the call as well. So I'm going to share a PowerPoint for her, and she's going to cue me when I need to go to the next slide. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Dr. Pomatto, and you let me know when you're ready for me to pull up the PowerPoint and start on that.
Well, welcome this morning. It's wonderful to have you on this video conference, and I am very pleased to be here and share a little bit about what's been going on with academics. Have a PowerPoint. I don't intend to read all of it, but before we get started with that, I just wanted to talk just a little bit about how the university, in terms of academics, responded during this COVID crisis that we have all been experiencing around the world. Naturally, in last March, we went remote, and all within 2 weeks, all of our courses that had been face-to-face or had heavy face-to-face components, they all had to be moved to an online and remote type of instructional mode. And, you know, that is easy for some courses and was easy for some courses, or I should say easier for other things like our chemistry labs and, you know, some of our technology courses that used heavy equipment, those kinds of instructional courses. It was quite a challenge to be able to do that, but we provided training and support for one another. We had tremendous teamwork across academic affairs. We had faculty that had been teaching online, helping those who had never taught online. And, you know, we just had everybody helping everybody else, and we did it. Students, you know, some students did better with a remote learning mode than others. And so our campus support services for students, they worked very, very hard, as did our faculty, at keeping students wrapped in, you know, in contact with us and continuing to make progress in their courses. So it was an all hands on deck effort, and really it went, I'd say, much better than what we perceived that it might go. And that was because of all of our students and our faculty and our staff, everybody working together. So that was the heartwarming part. You know, COVID, when we came back to campus in the fall, you know, we had met intensely about how to get people back on campus working and learning, and to be able to do that safely. So we bought more plexiglass than I thought was available on the market to have barriers on people's desks. We all came back with masks. We had social distancing in our classrooms. at least 6 feet apart. And we, worked with our physical plant employees for creating barriers so that people, understood where they could sit and where they couldn't sit. We just had, once again, an all hands on deck effort for helping to figure out how we could come back safely. And we were able to do that. It was amazing. And it wasn't only what happened on campus with courses, but also what, we had students that came back to live in the dorms. So, how could we do that safely? We worked very, very closely with our county health officers and staff, and our health center was very, very involved. We worked very closely with city leaders since we're located in the city of Pittsburgh. And, once again, we had some hiccups, but not like we thought we would. It was really pretty amazing. Now, the very sad part about this is that there have been many, many people across our campus that have been affected, either personally by COVID or had family, friends, and others that were affected by COVID. In fact, one of our faculty members, he lost his life to COVID, and then in that same department, and that happened to be in history, philosophy, and social sciences, Dr. Steve Harmon, he passed away as a result of COVID. And then in that same department, another faculty member's husband died of COVID. And there may be others across the campus that I, wasn't as aware of. But, those were individuals personally affected by COVID in the College of Arts and Sciences. And, we had students who were, had personal experiences with COVID as well. So, it has been, it has hit our university and all of our universities in Kansas and across the nation, as it has other communities. So we have worked very, very hard to be supportive of one another, and everybody who works at PSU, everybody who is a student and learns at PSU, and very respectful that this is a crisis that we've been in. And we've been in crisis mode now for over a year. Thank heavens, it looks like there are some bright lights at the end of the tunnel here, but we're just not quite there yet. But I did want to up front give you some idea of some of the kinds of things that we did as a university. Also, we worked very hard at providing the technology that students needed to be able to learn off campus. We had a checkout service for computers because not every student had a computer that was powerful enough to be able to manage off-campus learning and learning per web for all of their coursework. So we were able to do that, and that was very, very positive as well. I think we checked out over 100 computers to students who didn't have the appropriate technology for learning off campus. Another thing that I get asked when I go out and do these kinds of programs is, what is the tuition? And, I think if you graduated 50 years ago, and I'm approaching, I'm getting close to that 50-year undergrad mark myself. And I found a tuition check that I had written from when I was a PSU student, and it was amazing how much, what the difference is. Now we know all prices have gone up over time. But our in-state tuition undergrad is $3,872 a semester. And if you think back to what you paid, I'm sure it is quite different. And our graduate tuition, let's see if I can find that, is $4,364 a semester. However, you know, PSU, just as when we went to school, PSU is we are priced very affordably, you know, compared to other universities of our size and with the kinds of offerings that we have. And we work very hard as a university to keep our tuition and fees as low as possible, but still being able to maintain the quality that we need for our instruction. So, you know, I just wanted to give you that kind of input on what our tuition looks like these days. Our fall enrollment was somewhere right around 6,400 students. And, you know, during a pandemic, quite frankly, we were very pleased that we were able to serve 6,400 students during COVID in the fall. So also in academics, we've been going through a series of analyses on how much programs cost and how much revenue they actually generate. And so, you know, universities are having to really look closely at how we spend our money, and just as we as individuals and families are having to look really closely at how we spend our money. And so we engaged a consultant that kind of kicked us off on that process, and then we've been continuing that so that we have good information about how much every one of our academic degrees costs and what kind of revenue they bring in. And then we can adjust our expenditures as we need to be able to have the appropriate cost for each of our degree programs and the appropriate support for each of our degree programs. Now, John, if you would show that first slide, and I'll just talk a little bit about the College of Arts and Sciences first, because I live the College of Arts and Sciences experience every day as dean. And there we are. Here we are. Yeah. I put together a PowerPoint, and if you go to the first slide, John, I'm not going to read all of this, but our art department, our chairperson is a governor appointee to the Kansas Creative Arts Industries Commission. And that just kicks off the idea that we have very well-qualified faculty at PSU, and that is recognized across the state and beyond. The Sperry Herbarium has moved. It was in Heckert Wells, and it was in a very confining space. And with National Science Foundation support, a grant from that foundation, we were able to move it to Whitesett Hall, and into renovated space, and it's much more appropriate for the work of the herbarium. And now we have digitized over 4,000 specimens. So we're very, very pleased. And then those digitized specimens are available for use not only by our students and our campus community, but also, you know, really across the world. So we're very pleased about that. Our acceptance rates to medical school, professional schools, graduate programs in biology continues to be very, very strong, averaging over 90%. And our music program is a very, very vibrant, thriving program, and we have many people throughout our community who spend an awfully lot of their resources, including time, on our music program. And one of the series of the music department is the solo and chamber music series. It brings in artists from all over the nation, guest artists, and they do instructional sessions as well as performances. Ms. Sarah Henry, an alum of the music program, was honored this year with the Ralph Thomas Distinguished Service Award for her work with our solo and chamber music series. Our social work students, we have a partnership actually at the graduate level with the University of Kansas for offer of a master's in social work. But our undergraduate students, each semester, they complete community service projects, and they just had their presentations this week about their projects. It's a tremendous community benefit. Those, an example of some of the projects, dental health, some services for our homeless population in this area. Safe House is a safe environment for those in need of a place to be for a short period of time because of a crisis situation in their lives. And we have had students who have focused on providing resources, you know, like emergency clothing, those kinds of things, emergency personal items like soap and toothbrushes and toothpaste and those types of things for Safe House. So there have just been a tremendous range of projects that those students have completed that have been of great value to our community. The next slide, please. Our theater program has a new director this year. Our previous director was also chair of the Department of Communication, and she retired. So Dr. Megan Westoff has been appointed as the theater director, and theater had never done a virtual performance, and they have done multiple virtual performances since COVID came into our lives, and they've just done a beautiful job of those virtual performances. They just completed one very recently. Students in communication completed a PSU Campus Community Green Guide. We have a program of sustainability within the College of Arts and Sciences. It's an interdisciplinary program, and communication is one part of that. And so that was a green guide for that they completed for the sustainability program. Intensive English program has been moved to English and Modern Languages this year. English and Modern Languages also provides a writing center and writing services for both undergrad and grad students at the university. And those services are located in Axe Library, available to the entire PSU student community. They also do some assisting of, you know, for instance, if we have an accreditation, a university accreditation report that's due, they also will do some review of the writing of these formal reports before they're submitted. And so that's a tremendous service for the university. Our Family and Consumer Sciences program has just received the Kansas Association of Family and Consumer Sciences Friend of Family Award. And so we're very proud of that. Our online graduate history program has been ranked number 5 in the United States by geteducated.com for most affordable online masters in history. And that program has about 70 plus students in it at any given time. John, I think if you go on to the next slide. Our School of Nursing, and one thing that I didn't put on here because I thought I'd just talk about it instead, you know, simulation has become a huge part of healthcare educational programs. And in fact, for update training within healthcare systems as well. We have simulators, which are simulated human bodies, and they are highly sophisticated computers. And we have, you know, best practices now in nursing education is that you have a percentage of your clinical instruction, both at undergrad and at graduate levels, in a simulation center. They are safe environments to learn, and you can practice skills and be prepared then when you are actually working with real life people. So through donor support, we will be breaking ground on a simulation hospital, which will be in addition to McPherson Nursing Education Building. And we're very excited about that. Now, the challenge will be that all of the nursing faculty and staff and students and all of their classes are going to have to move out of McPherson Hall and into other space on campus. So we'll be working those kinds of things out over the summer months. Sometimes people wonder what we do in the summer, and I can tell you summer is one of our busiest times because that's when you're figuring out everything that you need to figure out so that you can come back to school the next year. And so that is one of the things that we will be working on this summer. Moving out of the building so that we can update and add on to McPherson Hall. Our nursing program is very, very involved in the community, just as social work is, and our military science students are as well. They do a lot of service projects, both on campus as well as beyond. And an example is a recent blood drive that we had on campus, and I was a blood donor at that drive, and there were students there helping, not actually with IVs and you know but all of the support kinds of things that happen at a blood drive. We also in the College of Arts and Sciences, we have a polymer chemistry initiative. We have significant state funding, about $1 million a year to support that program. It's an interdisciplinary program though. It actually is a collaboration among the College of Arts and Sciences, our Kansas Polymer Research Center that is located on our campus, as well as the College of Technology. And all of those three entities, the faculty work together, the research scientists that are employed by the Kansas Polymer Research Center, and then our undergrad and particularly graduate students are very involved in those research projects as well. And they bring in, you know, in exchange for $1 million of state funding per year, you know, there's some high expectations, not only for the education of students in polymer chemistry, but also for research and the the scientists, faculty, and students collectively bring in several $1 million in grants and contracts each year as a result of the Kansas initiative and investment in that initiative. And then in physics, our students, it's a small program, but those students go on to do tremendous things. And one of our physics grads, Levi, just recently was awarded a National Defense Science and Engineering Graduate Fellowship, which we're very proud of that. If we go on to the College of Business, I went alphabetical here, so arts and sciences, and now we're on business. We have an MBA online program that's ranked #1 in Kansas by the Wichita Business Journal. And boy, the enrollment in that program is growing by leaps and bounds. Kels building, did any of you have classes in Kels? I'm thinking probably yes, as I looked at the group of RSVPs and your degrees that were listed. The Kels building will undergo renovation, so everybody's going to move out of that building as well. Now, it's going to be a challenge to find classroom space and office space for both nursing and Kels at the same time, but we're up to the challenge. We'll figure it out. Recently, business started a new student organization, Phi Beta Lambda. It's the collegiate branch of the Future Business Leaders of America. And College of Business just awarded $280,000 in scholarships for next year to students. So that we're always proud of the scholarship awards that we can award. And we're always seeking more dollars for scholarships because our students, many are supporting their own educations, and so it's really important to those students in particular. On to the next slide. Dr. Lee, Associate Professor of Management, he just conducted a book drive for Africa University in Zimbabwe and had donations from all over the world. And then we have a couple of retirees among our academic faculty in the College of Business, and we've had a number of retirees across the university as well, a number in arts and sciences. And so that's always, we're always happy that people have the opportunity to retire, but it's always sad to see them go because our faculty is a pretty close-knit group of folks, our faculty and staff at PSU. And then on to the College of Education. They have just developed some 8-week sessions as opposed to a 16-week format for sessions in providing leadership instruction. And this leadership instruction can lead to principal building certification. That's an accelerated pathway for Kansas administrators, school administrators to be licensed. We have a couple of Kansas State Department of Education contracts that have been awarded to our College of Education. One is for administration of the Technical Assistance Network System that provides statewide services to educators and to families to improve outcomes for students with disabilities and for students who receive titled services. And then on the next slide is our second State Department of Education contract. And I think we need to go the other way, John. And then the next slide. thank you, has been awarded to PSU to provide for early career mentoring for special education, which provides statewide services and mentoring for early career special ed teachers. Special education is a very strong program at Pittsburg State University. We have, and that's one of the reasons that we were awarded these kinds of contracts from the State Department of Education, is because that is one of our specialties. We also have a Laura Bush 21st Century Librarian Program grant, Building Bridges Across Cultures. We also, one of our faculty members in education has a university evaluation grant from Special Olympics International. And we're only one of 6 universities in the nation to receive that grant. And then on the next slide, we also now have a licensure program so that students can get dual licensure in K through 6 as well as special education. And so we're very pleased about that as well. And it's possible to get this this program completed in 4 years as a student. And so that is a real plus and the first of its kind in Kansas. And then on to technology. Automotive technology has started doing, or they just had an annual golf tournament fundraiser. Well, I guess it's going to be coming up here before long. Golfing weather is about to hit big time. The last tournament raised about $5,000, and automotive technology also has had 7 new vehicles donated for students to be able to learn and practice on. And that's a real regular kind of donation that we get throughout the years, so that students, the automotive industry recognizes the need for students to have the latest kinds of equipment to learn and practice on. And so we're very grateful for our relationships with business and industry. 7 School of Construction students were selected by the Associated General Contractors of America to receive their scholarships. And so we received about $17,000 in scholarships. And the School of Construction has over 500 students. We have 2 schools at PSU in academics. One is nursing that has about 600 students, and the other is our School of Construction, which has over 500 students. So those are both large programs, lots of moving parts in both of them. And then the next slide, John. Engineering technology is working with the Southeast Kansas Career and Technical Education Center to inform and introduce our high school students to a 2-year plastics technology degree program that we have. We don't have very many 2-year degrees, but we do have this one approved by the Kansas Board of Regents, who is our governing body, because we have a plastics degree, technology degree, and so there are no other 2-year plastics technology degrees in Kansas. And so we have been approved to offer that program, as well as a certification program in mechanical CAD, computer-aided design. GIT is graphics and imaging technology. That is one of the departments in the College of Technology. And there are competitions regularly that those students participate in. One of the most recent was the Heartland American Advertising Awards, and we had 27 student awards that were awarded our students. Technology and Workforce Learning and the Kansas Center for Career and Technical Education. Those are both programs, and the one is a center in the College of Technology, and they continue to grow and provide services in this region and beyond. So we're very pleased about that. And then 3 of the students in Technology and Workforce Learning just placed in the Idea Shop Pittsburgh CO2 dragster tournament, and so that was exciting. And I think that was held at Block 22, and Block 22 is the PSU presence in downtown city of Pittsburgh, and it just has taken off like wildfire. We also have some student housing in the downtown Pittsburgh area in conjunction with Block 22 in those same buildings, and we students love those. It's more of apartment style living for upperclassmen, and they absolutely love them. I have toured them. I know John has toured them, and they're beautiful. In fact, there was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and I remarked that it looked like a great place to retire to. and could I move in? Could my husband and I move in? It was just gorgeous. And, it has, those big windows, like many of the older buildings downtown Pittsburgh have. And so, when you stood in those apartments and you look out upon the city, oh, it's just, it is almost breathtaking. It's just gorgeous. So students love those. And then I have the next slide, a little bit of an update on an ACTS library, which is part of academic affairs. I'm sure that many of you have been familiar with not ACTS Library, but Porter Library, which is now our Department of Art. But ACTS Library has just been in the process of remodeling, one floor, one area at a time. And so it's been a multi-year process, but the final phase will be completed this summer. And it really, libraries they've really had to change with the way that instruction and learning has changed as well. We have about 22 private rooms, small private areas that students can reserve to work on individual and small group projects. There's an awfully lot of team-based learning at this point in time. And so, ACTS Library has been accommodating that. There's fewer, things in print, fewer books. We have tremendous resources online, and we have access to other libraries across the world, really. So now we have a Starbucks and a coffee shop in which is Axe Grind in the library. So it's a much more relaxed, informal, and private small group interaction provided in our library. I had indicated earlier that we checked out computers to students during COVID. The library managed all of that process, and they had curbside service. If a student needed a book or something, the library, they didn't have access to come inside, but they could go online and find what they need. And then we had, staff that would actually take those resources, meet them in designated areas at their car, and they were able to still have access to the in-print kinds of things that they needed from the library. It worked amazingly well. But talk about a commitment to learning and a commitment made to students. That was a big undertaking by our library staff. Library, that's where our student success programs are located. And that's another kind of new way of thinking about libraries, is that many of those support services are offered, are located and offered in university libraries at this point in time. So that's where English's Writing Center is. Our Honors College is located there. Student accommodations, and a number of our other student support services are there as well. And then X Grind, which is our coffee shop, and you can buy a cookie and maybe a sandwich or a bag of chips or something there as well. And they have some healthy options, apples and cheese sticks and so forth. And then Digital Commons, as I said, many things many of the resources are available online now. And so we have all of our theses now are available to students and really to anybody online. Our campus publications, faculty research papers, presentations, our research colloquium, which is held every year and sponsored by Graduate and Continuing Studies. All of those submissions are available online. So we have many, many, many resources that are available to all of us, really. We have a lot of community people that use our library as well. I think that, yeah, questions. I thought that was the last slide. You've been very quiet, so if you have questions, please. I don't know whether I can answer them, but I'll sure give it a whirl.
And I muted everyone just so we didn't have background noise. So right. You would need to unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question, but here is your opportunity. Lots and lots of awesome information. Thank you, Dr. Pomatto.
Probably a little more than you can process in a short period of time, but I kind of threw an awfully lot at you.
No, that's good.
There's just so much that's happening and so much that is positive and exciting. Despite COVID, the university is thriving and moving on, moving along. So,
any questions at all?
Where is Block 22 located in Pittsburgh that you made reference to? Its physical location.
It's at Broadway and 4th Street. Broadway and 4th and Broadway. Mm-hmm.
Which corner?
Well, Block 22 is on the northeast corner, but the dorms are above. Dorms, the housing for students. Those apartments are above Block 22, so they're on the northeast corner, but they also are across the street on the northwest corner.
And Arlo, the virtual campus tour, I'm not sure if that email's gone out yet this morning, but you should be if you haven't already, you should be getting a link very soon that will include lots of pictures and information about the Block 22 project, and that'll kind of put it in perspective for you about exactly where those buildings are. It's an amazing project.
It is.
Okay, well, very good.
And the first floor of the building on the northwest corner is a gift shop and 2 restaurants that are there. And then on the northeast corner, in conjunction with Block 22, there is a coffee shop called route that is very popular, not only with PSU community, but also the Pittsburgh area community as well. So it's just amazing. And then Block 22 seemed to energize all of downtown. There are new businesses that have come in. There are boutiques. There's a bookstore that has just recently, well, I guess they've been in business about a year now, but it has really provided, I think a transformative nudge, so that it just gave some energy to our downtown area in Pittsburgh, and it has just spread, beyond the university. So it's been really exciting to watch that and to be part of it.
Any other questions? Okay.
Well, I hope that you have a wonderful day today. I heard that yesterday evening's get together went well, and wow, congratulations on having or being recognized in this way for 50 years post graduation from the university. And I agree with you, Arlo. It goes in a flash. It seems like I had my daughter yesterday. We have one child, and she's 41 years of age, and I think, how did that happen? She should still be little, and now she has little ones. So it's pretty amazing.
Well, Dr. Pomatto, thank you for your time. I think you did an amazing job of covering lots and lots of material in a very short period of time. So we appreciate you being here with us this morning. And hey, we'll get to honor you maybe in a few years. Do the same thing.
And then my husband, he graduated the year after me. So we're a PSU family. I bet some of you are as well. My husband, myself, our daughter, our son-in-law, and it just kind of goes on and on. So, all righty.
Murray, did you have a question?
I just said thank you to Mary. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate the update you gave regarding COVID and that period of time last year and leading up to now. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we're quite proud of how Pittsburg State University handled the COVID crisis. And one thing, I don't know if Dr. Scott will mention this afternoon at 1 o'clock, but one thing that we're very proud of is that I think certainly in the state of Kansas, I believe we're the only institution that held commencement at the end of last semester. I mean, our administration put their heads together and figured out a safe way to hold commencement ceremonies. I believe we had about 8 commencement ceremonies. We spread them out, and they were just as smooth as silk. And so that's a big deal. That's a big deal, and we're very proud that we were able to pull that off. So thanks again, Dr. Pomatto. Some of you might be getting on the athletics call that's coming up in just a few moments. So remember, that's a separate link that we sent you all in your email. So I'm going to hop off of this call and go ahead and open up that athletics one. And then at 11 o'clock, remember, if you're interested, we have another one talking about student life and student diversity programs. And then at 1 o'clock this afternoon, we'll hear from President Scott. And those of you who are part of the Half Century Club, we will be inducting you into the Half Century Club at that point in time. So, okay, well, I'm going to sign off, but I think Danielle and Stephanie can stay on for a moment if any of you have any other questions. And we hope to see you all soon. Thanks again.